This is my Bible. It is the living word of God. My mind is renewed and my spirit is prepared to receive the word which produces faith. And faith pleases God. I'm not just a hearer of the word, I'm a doer of the word. This word has given me life. Shout it out. Hallelujah. Amen. If you would remain standing, go to Jeremiah chapter 2 for me. Jeremiah chapter 2. I got a word for you. Anybody need a word from the Lord today? Anybody couldn't wait to get here this week because you knew God had something to say to you? I dare you to just create an atmosphere of expectancy, because when you start creating an atmosphere of expectancy, every question you walked in here with, God's going to answer over the next 30 minutes. Somebody say, Lord, I'm expecting. Watch this. When you expect things, things begin to change, because when a woman knows she's pregnant, her body begins to make adjustments. They begin going to look for baby clothes and cribs and all this. When you have expectancy, it changes everything about you. Somebody shout out, I'm expecting. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 19. You got it? Your own wickedness will correct you. Got real quiet right there. Y'all shouting, expecting. They said, well, wait a minute, Bishop. What you talking about, brother? And your backslidings will rebuke you. Know, therefore, and see that it is an evil and bitter thing that you have forsaken the Lord your God, and the fear of me is not in you, says the Lord of hosts. Verse 19, look at it again. Your own wickedness will correct you, not the devil. Not your mama and them. Not Kupuki and them. Your own wickedness is going to get you straight. See, the thing about being wicked is that when you dig one ditch, you better dig two. Because the trap you set from somebody else, it might just be your own wickedness will correct you, and your backslidings. What does that mean? Falling away from God. That will rebuke you. Know, therefore, and see that it is an evil and bitter thing that you have forsaken the Lord your God, and the fear of me is not in you. Encourage somebody next to you and say, neighbor, no matter what happens to you, don't be your own worst enemy. Father, you hear me. You always hear me. And I declare that as we move in the dynamic that you have ordained, I'm speaking to people that shall not defeat themselves. I said they shall not defeat themselves. We've got a lot of cycles and a lot of stuff we've been doing, God, but today I declare as a man of God that that's over. Every dysfunctional cycle that's been going on in the lives of your people, that ends today. And that from this moment forward, they'll never be their own worst enemy. And it is so in Jesus' name. Somebody shout hallelujah. High five 2 or 3 people on your way down. Say, don't be your own worst enemy. Don't be. You can be seated in the presence of the Lord. The word of God, Matthew 16:19 says this. Jesus says, and I give you the keys of the kingdom. Watch this. Keys are principles that will open doors to great things in your life. Please understand. Matter of fact, flip over there real quick. Matthew 16:19. I want you to see this because I want you to see what I'm going to start giving you. Somebody say keys. Now watch this. In the Hebrew culture, they did not necessarily use keys as we think of today to open a door. They didn't have quick set and all this kind of thing. They didn't have all that. What they had is an understanding of principles. Say principles. Now Matthew 16:19. This is Jesus talking. It says, and I will give you the what? Keys of the kingdom. What is the kingdom? Heaven's attributes on earth. It is God's what? Modus operandi. Please understand, you're not living until you've experienced the kingdom life. Everything else you're doing is just running around breathing, taking up my oxygen. Look at your neighbor and say, don't waste my oxygen. If you're not experiencing a life where heaven is invading your everyday life, you are having a mediocre existence. And I'm here to tell you that that does not have to be that way. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be messed up. You don't have to be jacked up. You don't have to walk around feeling like a defeat. You don't have to walk around feeling like a mistake. I'm here to tell you, religion says you have to do that, but relationship says there's something greater than that. Are you hearing me? Now watch this. Keys are principles. Look at this. He says, I give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Look at this. And I give you the keys, what? Of the kingdom, not to the kingdom. What is the difference, Bishop? The difference is this. The keys I'm getting are how to operate in the kingdom. The doorway's already been opened. Why, Bishop? Because the kingdom is where? Look at your neighbor. Tell them where it's at. Tell them where it's at. It's in you. Luke 17:21. The kingdom is in you. That is why there's an earth. That's what woke you up and got you to church this morning, because there was something in you that says there's got to be something greater. There's got to be another level. There's got to be something more that I need to know. I had plans to do this, but the Holy Ghost got me here this morning. Why? Because God said, I need to give you some keys so that you can begin to walk in the dimension that I've ordained. So watch this. Keys are principles. Just like in the natural, what does a key do? It opens a door. The keys of the kingdom open doors to great things in your life. Watch this. Napoleon said this: death is nothing, but to live defeated and inglorious is to die daily. The condition of our lives is a sum total of the choices that we've made. Flip over to Deuteronomy. Flip over to Deuteronomy. It is not a result of what folk did to you. It's how you responded to what folk did to you. You got to quit walking around talking about I'm a victim and mama did this and daddy wasn't there and so and so. You know what? Everybody that had some junk in their trunk. Everybody that been through something. Everybody that cried. Everybody that been betrayed. Everybody that been lied on. Everybody that been cheated. Everybody that been mistreated. Everything Vicky Winen said in that song. Everybody that had that happen. Touch your neighbor. So you're not alone in this. The enemy will try to make you feel like you're the only one in the world that's ever been through what it is that you're going through. Somebody shout, I'm not alone in this. Watch this. Deuteronomy 30:19. Look what it says. It says, I call heaven and earth. It must be pretty important. As witnesses against you that I set before you. Wow, watch this. Life and death. Blessing and cursing. Now watch this. Now God says, in other words, we finna play Jeopardy. But God says, listen, I'm so good, I'm going to tell you the answer. Therefore, choose life. So now, it ain't no mystery about, well, I don't know what the Lord wants me to do here. He done told you. Somebody say, choose life. Well, which means this, then you are where you are today because of the choices that you've made. Now watch this. Sometimes kingdom choices, what are kingdom choices? Choices that are going to bring what? Heaven's attributes in your life. Aren't clear because they may require discomfort. Sometimes to choose God means to choose discomfort. Sometimes to choose the kingdom means to choose him over the folk you've been running with and the folk you've been walking with. Sometimes to make a kingdom choice, you got to learn how to walk by yourself. And if ain't nobody else going to walk with me, God is with me. And if ain't nobody else going to be my prayer partner, I'll encourage myself in the Lord. Because if I'm going to live in the kingdom, I got to get uncomfortable sometimes. So somebody say get uncomfortable. If you stay in your comfort zone, I'm here to tell you, you're experiencing the best life's ever going to get for you. It ain't going to get no better. Let me just talk country to you. It ain't going to get no nan better than it is right now. If you don't like getting uncomfortable, as a believer, you ought to have so many spiritual stretch marks. Because every time you get comfortable, God stretches you. And every time you get comfortable, he stretches you. And the moment you conquer this level, he says, I want to take you a little further. And the moment you conquer this and you think, woo, it's over, he says, let's walk into another store. Are you still here? Now watch this. Sometimes it's not that you're doing wrong. You're just not doing the right things right. I'm going to say it again because your neighbor missed it. Sometimes you're saying, why is this going on and why is this going on? Sometimes it's not because you're doing anything wrong. Sometimes it's because you're not doing the right. It's easier to make the right choice when you know what the wrong one is. So today what I'm going to do is give you 6 choices that are going to cause you to defeat yourself. Watch this. God says, every day I set before you life and death. Now you choose which way you're going to go. Every day I set before you the blessing or the curse. Now you choose which way you want to go. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Well, which means what we got to do as believers, and I know this is tough, what we got to do is we got to stop blaming all of our stuff. Do you know that the reason your neighbor's blaming, your neighbor blames you for far more than you know they do? How come you didn't lift your hands in worship today? Well, Sheila just was not moving. Why you didn't go down to get prayer? You said before you come to church you was going down to get prayer. Well, the lady looked next to me, just was looking all, she was just crying and carrying on, and I didn't want to, We blame a lot of stuff on other folk, and then we wonder why we get the results that we get. Look at your neighbor and say, but I'm going to make some better choices for me on our dinner. Make some good choices, man. I can't blame everything on everybody else. And watch this. We all make mistakes. We all do that. Guess what? I don't care if you're the pastor or the plumber. You're going to make mistakes. Here's what you need to understand, though. Let's break down the etymology of the word mistake. It means to look at something the wrong way. You mistook what you saw. So a mistake is to look at something the wrong way, so you make a wrong decision based on a bad perception. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That's why a lot of folk make permanent decisions from temporary locations, and they end up making mistakes because they mistook what they saw. Are y'all still here? Now watch this. Number one. I told you I'm going to give you how many? 6. These 6 things that you're going to do to be not to be your own worst enemy. You ready for number 1? Come back next week. Quickest message you ever heard me preach. Number 1, when you abort pain rather than embrace it. When you abort pain rather than embrace it. Dr. Sam Chan says this: you can only grow to the threshold of your pain. Growth equals change. Change equals loss. Loss equals pain. Let me tell you how your neighbor reads Psalm 23. Yea, though the Lord pulls me out of the valley of the shadow of death, yea, though I snot and tear and get everybody to help me out of my walk and out of my valley. Down there what the Bible said. The Bible says, yea, though I walk through the valley, not deliver me from the valley. You better understand that there's some stuff you just got to walk it out. There's some stuff that you can't get delivered out of, you can't get picked up out of. There's some stuff you're just going to have to endure. Touch somebody and say endure. There's some stuff that you're just going to have to learn how to push the tears back and make it happen. Look at somebody and say, make it happen. Stop all that complaining and backbiting and it's so hard. It's hard for everybody, man. You just got to make a decision that if there's no pain, there's not going to be any gain. So I got to go through this. You better beware of folk that love you too much and will love you out of having to go through stuff. And so they end up becoming your God, because every time you go through something, you call them and they bail you out. You better learn how to get off them government bailouts and learn how to just walk through some of the stuff you got to walk through. Touch your neighbor and say, it was good for me to go through that. It was good for me to go through that. And watch this, the moment you try to numb the pain is the moment you stop growing and you start dying. I have to embrace pain. And I know it don't feel good, so I ain't finna sit up here and tell you if you just trust the Lord. It's going to hurt. I ain't finna lie to you and give you your money's worth. There's some stuff that's just going to hurt. But Bishop, do you know what he did? I don't have to know. I know it hurts. Well, what am I supposed to do? Deal with it. Look at your neighbor and say, deal with it. There's some stuff that's going to hurt, but you need to understand. You need to remember what this feels like so you never want to repeat this lesson again. There's some times that when you go through some stuff and you begin to experience pain, you'll say, I'm going to make sure I never make the choices that got me here again, because I never want to experience this pain again. Somebody shout never again. The second thing you do that makes you your own worst enemy is when you fail to give honor where honor is due. Flip over to Romans 13. When you see this? Romans 13. Embrace your pain. Embrace it. I say this often. I'm going to say it again. There's some stuff you're going through that you need to make the devil pay for. Some of y'all got 2 or 3 reality shows locked up in what you done been through in life. You got 4 or 5 books based on what you done been through in life. You got to learn how to use that stuff, man. You got to learn how to make him pay for it. If you're going to mess with me, you're going to pay for it. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something, because you're not going to make me go through something and not pay me for it. Show me the money. Romans 13:7, you got it? Render therefore to all their due. Taxes to whom taxes are due. I know you think the IRS is the devil. If this wasn't going around the world, I'd say some stuff. The Bible says pay the man their money. So get him their money. Customs to whom customs, which means you go in some people's house, the custom is take your shoes off. So don't be going, no, I ain't taking my shoes off. It's the custom of their house. So if you don't want to take your shoes off, then you stand in the entry. You hear what I'm saying? You don't like my rules. You ain't finna come in my house and rearrange my furniture. So you don't like the way it go in here, then you're more than welcome to stay out there. See, some of y'all be letting stuff come up in your house, and you be getting mad when they bring that stuff up in there. You let dysfunction in your house, so don't you be getting mad when it sit up in there and take out of there. You give a mouse a cookie, he gonna want some milk. You let folk in your personal space and in your life, and you let them up in your stuff, and you don't make them give no kind of custom, no kind of honor, and then you get mad at them for being who they showed you they were the whole time. The worst thing you can do is get mad at somebody that told you who they were. Bishop, I just don't understand. They just ain't being faithful. They ain't never been faithful. What you don't understand? Well, I figured I'd change them. Well, you figured wrong. Bishop, they're just so rude. They always been rude. But you thought you was going to change them? You thought you had it like that? Look at your neighbor and say, don't fool yourself. Don't. Fear to whom fear. The word fear there just means reverence to whom reverence. We live in a culture and a society now where don't nobody respect and honor nothing. They respect you and honor you as long as you're doing right by them. And the moment you say something they don't like, they don't respect and honor you. And there used to be a saying that said, if you don't want to honor, but deal with parents, if you don't want to deal right with your parents, then there's somebody who's going to make you honor them. I've seen people act big and bad until police show up. What you got to say now, buddy? You big and bad until somebody with a nightstick and a gun show up. Honor to whom honor. Watch this. There are three levels you're supposed to give honor in your life. And watch this. The gateway to negative seasons is always through dishonor. The gateway to negative seasons in your life is always through dishonor. So the first thing we honor is who? God. Second thing, though, is you honor leaders. You read Romans chapter 13, it ain't just dealing with church leadership, it's dealing with all leaders. See, because here's the deal. If you talk bad about your boss, I don't get surprised when you got something to say about me. Difference is I got a sword he don't have. Honor. Honor means to esteem highly. See, some folk talk, oh, President Obama. I ain't talking politics, but President Obama. Oh, let's go back to the last one. Oh, George W. Oh, he just put the country, whatever folk want to say. But if he was to walk in your house, oh, Mr. President. Oh, God bless you. We're so glad you're here. Good to see you. God is faithful. Now, you was just talking a bunch of trash when the man wasn't around you. Honor means to esteem highly. The Bible says don't even talk about your leaders in the privacy of your home because a bird will hear it and take it to them. It's Proverbs. So you honor God, you honor leaders, but watch this. Here's where we also got to do it. You have to honor one another. You know why folk fall out with one another? Because they fail to honor one another. Which means instead of trying to make yourself feel better than everybody by pushing them down, what a smart person does is lifts others up. There's an old saying from the South. I can't say it how Big Mama said it. I'm going to say it the new contemporary version. You get more with honey than with vinegar. For those of you south of the Missouri, or east of it, whatever. Somebody say honor. Second way you become your own worst enemy is when you fail to honor God, fail to honor leaders, and fail to honor one another. You become your own worst enemy because that's a gateway to a negative season. God says, I'm going to teach you to honor. See, watch this. If you have a problem with leader, if you always talk about your supervisor at work, God says, I got something for you. It's called a promotion. What you mean a promotion? Why would the Lord promote me? Because I want you to see what it's like to have disorderly people like you. And you talking about, oh, child, the Lord did it. The Lord is faithful. He said, oh, I'm faithful. I'm going to teach you never to dishonor leaders again because you're going to see what dishonor looks like. It's quiet in the church. Number 3 way we become our own worst enemies. Number 3, y'all with me? Is we don't keep our vows to God. Flip over to Deuteronomy 23. And again, let me say this. We've all made mistakes, so don't be sitting up here feeling all bad. I'm just trying to show you, because remember what I tell you is that if you see what mistakes are the wrong things to do, then you'll know the right thing to do. Sometimes it's not that you're doing wrong, you just ain't doing the right. Flip over to Deuteronomy 23. You got it? Now, Bishop, what do you mean when we keep our vows to God? Some of y'all made promises to God. God, if you get me out of this, I'm going to do this. Come on, let's be real. Come on, how many of us have done that? We've all done it, and the rest of y'all need to get saved at the end of church. We've all done it. Lord, if you get me away from this crazy relationship, I promise you, I'm going to serve you all the days of my life. So all the days of your life was 2 weeks. You got it? Deuteronomy 23, you got it? Go to verse 21. Whenever you make a vow to the Lord your God. Now watch this. Not just vows in terms of promises, but monetary things. Harvest is plentiful, campaign pledges. I'm just saying. When you make a vow to the Lord your God, you shall not delay to pay it or to do it. For the Lord your God will surely require it of you, and it would be sin to you. Which means this. There's stuff you vow to that had you not vowed to it, if you didn't do it, it wouldn't be sin. But when you open your mouth and make a vow, God says, because you obligated yourself by your own word. Stop promising to pay people back in 14 days, and you know good and doggone well it's going to take 3 months. Well, some things happen. Well, you should have equated for that in your repayment plan. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. It's quiet in the Lutheran church today. We love Lutherans. Amen. You got folk right now that they made vows to you, and you mad at them because they didn't keep it. And the truth is, you ain't mad because they didn't pay it. You just mad because they didn't communicate to you about it. Y'all better be real with me. They were supposed to call you Friday at 5:30 once they got off work. And you call them, and they talking about going right to voicemail. Or worse yet, it rings twice, then it goes to voicemail, so you know they had to hit ignore. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. See, I just told on some of y'all because y'all I didn't hear the phone ring. If it rang 3 times and go to voicemail, they heard you. If they got Sprint. Look at verse 22. But if you abstain from vowing, it wouldn't be sin to you. Sometimes we say stuff so that we sound, Lord, if you want to use anybody, use me. So you know what he says? Good. Get in there and clean the church bathrooms. Well, Lord, I don't know have an anointing. You ain't got to be anointed. You ain't got to have no oil to use the thing. What you call that? The scrubber. There you go. You don't need no anointing for that. You don't need no anointing to spray Febreze. I just feel the Lord lead me to Febreze. You ain't got to. God ain't got nothing to do with that. It's quiet. We say stuff sometimes to sound spiritual. That's why I tell people, you better be careful what you be saying to God. God, if you just send me a godless spouse, I promise you. All right? You promise what? What you promising? I'm going to leave that alone so I can stay in my time. 23. That which is gone from your lips shall keep, and you shall keep and perform. For you voluntarily vowed to the Lord your God what you have promised with your mouth. So when we don't keep our vows to the Lord, Scripture says, I don't have time to go there, it says it's better to have never vowed than to vow and never keep. Because if you vow and don't keep, then it's sin for you. Lord, if you save my son, I promise you I'm going to do this. Okay, so what happened when he saved him? What you going to do? Well, Lord, as soon as this is over. No. You told me. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm going to hold you to the carpet. Tell them, I'm going to hold you to the carpet. Hold your neighbor to the carpet. When they start telling them, I'm going to call you in 5 minutes. When they call you in 6, let them go to voicemail. So people say, I want to be close to Bishop. Okay, you're going to learn some excellence and honor. You want to be close to me. Because I said 5 minutes. I did not say 6, so I moved on. Well, you're going to learn to be excellency. That's an inside joke. You're going to learn. Little mama, you're going to learn. The fourth way we become our own worst enemy. Flip over to Luke 19. Flip over to Luke 19. Y'all learning something? See, if you avoid these decisions, you won't be your own worst enemy. And since God's for you, unless it's you against you. Are you getting this? Let me say this. The devil is defeated. Let me just settle that. He has the power to do no thing in your life except that which God says is going to do that. And if God lets him do that, I've already taught you why God would allow that. So the devil's just really beating up on us. No, he's not. You choosing the death. Got it? It's a choice every day. Look at your neighbor, tell him it's a choice. All right. Luke 19:13, you got it? So he called 10 of his servants, delivered them 10 minas, and said to them, do business till I come. Now here's the deal. The fourth way you're your own worst enemy is when the kingdom is second to anything else in your life. It's the number one reason marriages fail. It's the number one reason families fail. It's the number one reason businesses fail. It's because the kingdom sits second to everything else. What does Matthew 6:33 say? Seek ye. Okay, just stop right there. Because we say that, and we shout and run and buck and tear the church up. But we don't realize what we're saying. Seek ye first your wife. Nope. No shouting right there. Seek ye first your husband. Nope. Seek ye first your kids. Nope. Seek ye first the kingdom. And God says, I got everything else. So when the order of the kingdom is first, God says, I'll make sure your marriage is good. I'll make sure your kids are straight. I'll make sure your money ain't funny. I'll make sure your change ain't straight. God says, I got all of that, but I can't have that when you ain't got me first. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Now, watch this. Let me just deal with single folk for a minute. Single folk sometimes read that seek the man. Seek the woman first, and then start going to church. No. Seek ye first what? The kingdom. Now, watch this. Watch this. When you seek the kingdom first, everything else falls into place. Do I have any witnesses to that? Okay. Yeah. You handle God's business, and he'll handle your business. If the affairs of the kingdom come second, whatever's first in your life has to provide for you. I'm going to say it again. If the kingdom is not first, whatever's first has to provide for you. So if your job is first, then it has to provide for you. If your children are first, they have to provide for you. Husbands, if your wife is first, she has to provide for you. No wonder Adam got in trouble. He made what God said less important than what she said. And wives, let me tell you something. If you really say you want a man of God that's after God's own heart, then that means he's got to hear God first and then get with you. There's some stuff he going to say that you ain't going to like, and all you got to do is say, all right, honey. Y'all ain't said nothing. All the women started cringing a little bit. I guess y'all ain't going to shout now. I'm going to say, I want a godly man. Then a godly man's going to tell you when to, wait a minute, stop all that. Well, I'm just saying, ain't no say. This is the order of the kingdom. This is how it be. Ain't no man. That's why you don't or can't keep. A man that loves God is going to learn how to put you in the proper priority in the kingdom. Let me tell Bishop, he just don't love me. Why you want a man sitting up running up behind you all day? Baby, let's go get our nails done. Baby, let's do this. Baby, no, he needs to get out there and do business. Sitting up there running up behind you. That ain't godly. That ain't the kingdom. The order of the kingdom. Y'all better, the men better say something to me. Well, he just don't never spend no time with me. He was with you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, if y'all got planning problems, that's on you, not on the kingdom. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. I'm going to leave this alone because this ain't in my notes. I just want more time. Well, how much time you want? The Bible tells him to go do business until he come. He can't do business running up behind you. We're getting ready to do this whole thing. I'm going to tell you the name of it because I think the trademark's finally done, called Relationship Revolution. Well, we're going to, because folk don't know how to have a relationship. They don't know how to date. They don't know how to marry. They don't know how to be friends. They don't know how to be a BFF and all this. Folk don't know how to do that. They don't know how to be acquaintances. So we're getting ready to do a whole thing where we're going to revolutionize how people relate to one another according to the Word, not to what people think the Word says. Women, if you want a godly man, this ain't in the, if you want a godly man, that means that the kingdom comes before you. What you really ought to understand is you married a vision, not a man. And the reason so many times women get frustrated is because they try to make him be a man when they need to understand he's a visionary, which means you married everything up inside of him, which means you got to learn how to cultivate that stuff and birth that stuff out and not sit there and just want to leech and suck all the time yourself. Now, I ain't going to get no amens right there, but that's your Bible. Your time should be filled doing what? What did he say? Doing the kingdom of the business, or the business of the kingdom. Making some y'all in here. Watch this. When you're handling God's business, you don't have time for sin. If you saying, I'm struggling with this and struggling with this and struggling, let me tell you why. Because you ain't busy enough. Y'all hear what I'm saying? If you I just keep meeting the wrong people, it's because you ain't busy enough. You ought to be busy with the kingdom. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Watch this. So here's the question. What are you doing to further the vision of this house? If the answer is nothing, then the kingdom isn't first yet in your life. It's real quiet. Preach, Bishop. Oh, Jesus. Number 5, y'all ready? When you shoot first and ask questions later. You've been your own worst enemy. Now, I gave this wonderful analogy. I'm not, for the sake of the cameras and all this kind of stuff, I'm not going to do it. But I just want you to visualize this. Visualize, y'all know those westerns where they stand and they got the, the boots and all this kind of stuff. And, and that's what they do. There you go. And they pull them out. And so it's like who can draw the furthest, quick draw. Quick draw McGraw and all this. And they see who can shoot first. Here's the problem, though. When you communicate that way, you're going to ruin good relationships. Bishop, what do you mean? Here's how a lot of folk communicate. They think they know something. They shoot, and then they try to go ask a dead body what it said. So I'm going to have to do the analogy. Come here, Cindy. Come here. Let me do the analogy. Come here. Y'all come on here. Okay, now you come over here. All right. Okay, now this is for pretend church now, okay? Don't be sending me no emails. I'm going to let Elder Brown respond. All right, watch this. Okay, now so you having a disagreement. Now watch this. He think he had something bad to say about his tie because he didn't say nothing good about it when he saw him this morning. Oh, you know the silly stuff you be getting upset about. Well, when I was greeting them, they did not speak back to me in a kind and friendly manner. I said, it's so good to see you, and they kind of looked at me. So now you've got a presumption going on and an assumption. So here's what you do. When he comes and tries to say something to you, now he got attitude. So because he got attitude, what'd he do? Shoot him. Boom. So he dead. I'm going to tell you how your neighbor communicates. This is how they communicate. They don't give a chance for the person to explain anything. So they ask leading questions rather than open questions. So they don't say, well, why didn't you say anything about my tie? No, they don't say that. They say, you know what? You didn't say nothing about my tie because you're jealous of me, and you've always been jealous of me. See, Mama told me about this, and I didn't want to say. And here's what they do. They shoot, then they. Now, what did you mean when you told me? Thank you, son. Thank you. When you shoot first and ask questions later, you are your own worst enemy, because you're going to fall out with people that ain't going to handle all that leaky head stuff. Because some folk are going to say, what? And they ain't going to sit there and have grace and mercy. They're just going to say, okay, bus. Are you here? Sixth way, you ready? This last way. The paralysis of analysis. I'm going to use Napoleon again. Napoleon said, take time to deliberate, but when the time for action has arrived, stop thinking and go in. Well, one of the things that Napoleon also said that kind of deals with this whole thing is Napoleon said this, and there's several different variations of it, but here was the gist of it. He said, never interfere with an enemy when they are in the process of destroying themselves. Now, the way he originally said it is, never interfere with an enemy when they're in the process of making a mistake. Now, watch this. Some of y'all, the enemy just puts you on play. Steps back. Says, I already know what they finna do. Watch this. The sixth way, and this is the most serious of them. The paralysis of analysis. Now go to 1 Samuel 30. 1 Samuel 30. I want you to see this. 1 Samuel 30. Y'all getting something today? All right, good. 1 Samuel 30. Because you got to stop shooting yourself in the foot talking about, Lord, heal me. How much stuff you ask him to heal you from that you did to yourself? I ain't got to ask for healing if I just quit tripping with myself. I mean, you sitting here just cutting. Lord, please heal my muscles. The devil was attacking me. Well, if the devil's you, that's accurate. Somebody shout, I will not be my own worst enemy. I said shout it, not speak it. I will not be my own worst enemy. Here we go. You ready? 1 Samuel 30, verse 1. Watch this. I want you to see this. Now it happened when David and his men came to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites had invaded the south, and Ziklag attacked Ziklag and burned it with fire, and had taken captive the women of those who were there from small to great. They did not kill anyone, but carried them away and went their way. And David and his men came to the city, and there it was burned with fire. Their wives, their sons, and their daughters had been taken captive. So look at me. They didn't lost everything. It did not die. It was simply misplaced. A lot of stuff that you think is dead in your life is not dead. It is just misplaced. And you can't see things when there's disorder in your life. And so you have everything you need, yet you can't see it because there's too much chaos going on. And so now David comes back to the camp. His wives are gone, the children are gone, and the city's burned with fire. Verse 4, then David and the people who were with him lifted up their voices and wept. Watch this. They wept so much to where they had no more power to weep. Have you ever had so much emotion about a situation that you cried until there was nothing left to come out? You wanted to cry and powder fell out. Have you ever been in such a situation where you've wept and there was nothing else to weep about? You were so weak that all you could do was lay. Am I talking to anybody that's ever been there? So David and the people were in a place where they had no more power to even weep. Verse 5, and David's two wives, Amnon the Jezreelite and Abigail the widow of Nabal the Carmelite, had been taken captive. Now, David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of stoning him. Now, isn't that something? How David lost two, but they want to kill him. Can I teach you something for those of you who want to be leaders? The price of leadership is that everything rises and falls on you. So everybody wants leadership because they think it's glamorous. There's a price to pay to be great. You get blamed for everything. President Obama, now I don't know this to be factual, but I would reckon to say he don't know nothing about oil wells. I'm just saying. How is it his fault? I'm just saying. I'm not for or against. Don't tell me say I'm a bishop's a Democrat. No, I'm not. I'm a kingdom. We got to start our own party. I ain't for them or for the Republicans. I don't believe in none of them. Because ain't neither one of them going to be able to fix the country. It's going to take kingdom men and women of God that God has to raise up and put them in office and put them in place. So if you expecting them to fix it, you can come off that drain on. They can't fix it. The Bible says the government is on his shoulders, not the shoulders of politicians. Now David was distressed because they wanted to kill him, because the soul of all the people was grieved. You find out the real person when they're in pain. Up until that point, you're dealing with an image. You find out who you're really dealing with when they're in pain. Every man for his sons and his daughters. But David what? Strengthened himself in the Lord his God. Then David said to Abiathar the priest, Ahimelech's son, please bring the ephod here to me. And Abiathar brought the ephod to David. Now watch this. They lost everything in one battle in one moment. And it wasn't even a battle. They sieged and took. They weren't even there. The men were gone. They lost everything. And the people were talking about stoning David. And David said, you know what? Listen, I understand y'all going through some things. But right now, what I need to do is strengthen myself, because I can't lead and move in the direction I need to when I'm sitting down here stressed out with y'all. There's some stuff you need to understand. The storm's going to go on. You just need to learn how to fly higher than the storm. You need to learn how to come up higher. Touch your neighbor, say, come up higher. Hurricanes go on all the time, but you know how they monitor them? They get above them, and the planes begin to fly above them. So David encouraged himself in the Lord, and he said, bring me the ephod. He said, bring me my prayer garment, because right now I don't need to be sitting up trying to figure this out. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Look at verse 8. David said, I ain't got time to sit here and figure out why they did it and why did this happen and how we going to do this and all of this. Your neighbor spends far too much time answering questions there are no answers to. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so watch this. David inquired of the Lord, saying, watch this. He asked him a couple questions and said, listen, I ain't going to sit up here all day trying to give an analysis to this thing and come up with a wonderful a dissertation about how this. No, I need to know three things, God. Shall I pursue them? Shall I overtake them? Or two things, Lord. Shall I pursue them and shall I overtake them? Now, you know what your neighbor would do? Know them? Well, Lord, I'm just so hurt right now. I just don't know, Lord. Lord, it seems like every time I take one step forward, I get knocked back two. Lord, I want to live for you. This is your old neighbor, not the new one. They real spiritual now. They're very spiritual. Look at your neighbor and say, you're very spiritual. You're very spiritual. Lord, it's so hard out here. David encouraged himself. Amen. Then he said, let me go ask God what to do. He didn't sit there trying to make an analysis and analyze everything and figure out, well, why they do this and 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 why they don't like me and why they don't like me. There's some questions that there are no answers to. Just because. Look at somebody and say, just because. Why does it rain in Spain and not in Italy? I don't know. Just. How does Colorado have a blizzard on Thursday and 80-degree weather by Saturday? How is it you have to have your AC on one moment and the next moment you have to turn your heat on? Why is it that the people that love you on Sunday will crucify you on Monday? Why is it the people called your family that should understand you the most typically are the ones that don't understand you at all? Somebody shout, just because. Now watch this. David inquires of the Lord. He asks two questions, because remember, the sixth enemy is the paralysis of analysis. You sitting there trying to analyze. Well, Lord, I'm going to have a comeback, but Lord, give me 4 years to have a comeback party. And Lord, I'm going to do this, and Lord, I'm going to do this. Stop all that. Look at them and say, stop all that. David said to God, hey, look here, Lord. Shall I pursue them and shall I overtake them? And look at God's response. Pursue them and you shall overtake them, and without fail, you're going to recover everything. Now imagine had David sat there spending time trying to analyze everything and figure it out. No, God said, get up from this place and go and get it, and you're going to get it all back. Somebody shout, I'm getting it all back. I'm not talking about the stuff the devil stole. I'm talking about the stuff I freely gave up. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Watch me recover it without fail. Somebody shout, without fail. Watch this. That's not the best part of the text. Best part of the text is verse 17. This is the best part of it. This is the part that makes me shout. And if you don't shout right here, that's all right. At the end of the church service, we're going to open the doors. Verse 17, you ready? Then David attacked them from twilight until the evening of the next day. Now imagine had he wasted his time trying to plan all that out. There's some stuff you need to plan. There's some stuff you just need to get up and do. You already know what God has said. Why are you sitting around trying to say, well, I'm just working on this. I'm doing. Get up from that place and just do it. Somebody shout Nike. Nike comes from the Greek word nikeo, which means to just do it. It means action. Swoosh. Well, watch this. Verse 17. Then David attacked them from twilight until the evening of the next day. Not a man of them escaped, except 400 young men who rode on camels and fled. So David did what? Verse 18, read it. I don't hear you. And nothing? But he wouldn't have recovered it all if he was sitting there thinking about it. Let me help your neighbor. There's stuff they talking about, they praying about, that God already answered. Would y'all please be real with me? See, y'all say, I like Bishop real, but I'll be real. Y'all be trying to act all sanctimonious and pious. I never do that to the Lord. Bishop, the Lord speaks to me once, and I instantly obey. You got to sell that somewhere, but I ain't buying. We've all done it. Somebody shout, we've all done it. Imagine had they sat there after God said, go pursue, overtake, you're going to cover all. David asked 2 questions. God gave 3 answers. You shall pursue, you shall certainly overtake, and you shall, without fail, recover all. See, that's why you got to get last Sunday's tape, because, see, prayer remembers 2-way communication. Imagine had David stopped, and he never would have heard God's response. You are your own worst enemy when you sit and analyze what you should be doing when you know you're supposed to be doing. I'm just praying about whether or not the Lord wants me to serve. Ain't nothing to pray about. The Bible says to do it. Get up and do it. I'm just waiting on the Lord to just speak to me about, I just don't know if harvest is where I'm supposed to be. You professional visitors, let me help you. You heard it in my voice. Sheep know the voice of their shepherd. You're in here because God, before the foundation of the earth, he set me aside just for you, and he set you aside just for me. It's in my voice. Stop talking about, well, I don't know if I like the way they greet. I don't know if I like the way they listen. It ain't going to be nothing perfect. If you find a perfect church, don't join it, because you're going to mess it up. I mean, you're going to ruin it. Moment you come, as soon as they put your name on the book, here go to church, man. We was doing something real good. Now they can come up off in here. It's in my voice, and when I speak, something begins to stir in your spirit, and you may not even understand all of what I teach, all of what I minister. You may still be trying to figure out what kingdom is, but there's something in your spirit that begins to jump. It is just like when Elizabeth had John the Baptist and Mary showed up with Jesus, and when they got in the company of one another, all of a sudden the baby started kicking. Your baby's kicking, so my question is, when you gonna deliver? You ready? Last thing I want to say. How do we fix these things, Bishop? I'm glad you asked me that question. It is a daily decision to choose life. What does that mean? To choose right and do right right. Some of y'all praying. I heard the Lord say give. That was a big amount. I ain't never heard him say that. So I'm just praying. You already heard him. What you waiting to hear? Let me help the single folk again. I prayed about whether or not they the one. Lord, you need to listen to the radio show. I prayed about whether or not they the one. And the Lord said, but I'm just seeing. Seeing what? I mean, what you want to see? And what are you looking? You want him to just like put it across at the NBA Finals. They're going to put it on the screen. Don't marry her. What are you looking for? You want the lightning to crash and the thunders to dash and what they say? The breakers dashing and the thunder roaring and the lightning flashing trying to comfort your soul or take your soul or something. Billows rolling.